Change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Hello, everyone. This is Nitin Saxena, your coach for verbal ability and soft skills. So, I'm back today with the session continuing on the common errors of adjectives. Previously, we did common errors of nouns and common errors of pronouns. So, today, in connection to the same, we'll be going with the next part of speech, that is adjective. Now, as we all know, what are adjectives in English? Now, adjectives, they are the modifying words in English, or they can be described as the words which add something to the meaning of a noun or pronoun. That is why they are also known as describing words in English. Now, there are various kinds of adjectives which you would have already studied in some of the sessions. But whenever it comes to the competitive examinations or the placement drives, so the examiners never question us on the types of adjectives or types of any parts of speech. They actually question us on the usage of these concepts or the common errors that we generally make while using these parts of speech. Now you must be knowing about the various degrees of adjectives as well. There are 3 degrees of adjectives, that is the positive degree, or we call it as the absolute degree. The second degree is known as the comparative degree, and the third degree is known as the superlative degree. The positive or the absolute degree is used to define the quality of one person or thing. Coming to the second one, that is the comparative degree. Now, comparative degree is generally formed by adding IOR or ER at the end of the positive degree. And the comparative degree of an adjective is used when a comparison is made between two people or two things. Now, coming to the last, that is the superlative degree. Now, what is superlative degree used for? First of all, the superlative degree is generally formed by adding EST or ST at the end of the positive degree, but that is only in the case of regular adjectives, not the irregular adjectives. In case of regular adjectives, if we add ER or IOR at the end of the positive degree, it becomes the comparative degree. And if we add EST or ST at the end of the positive degree, then it becomes the superlative degree. But in case of irregular adjectives, alright, before going to the irregular adjectives, let me give you an example of the regular adjectives. For example, if I say tall, so TALL, tall, that is the positive degree which is used to define the quality of one individual. Now, if I have to form the comparative degree out of it, I'll add ER at the end of tall. It will become taller, and taller will be used to compare two people. Next, if I add EST at the end of tall, so if I add EST and at the end of tall, then it becomes superlative degree. Now, this superlative degree of an adjective is used when we compare more than two people or more than two things. Now, coming to the irregular adjectives, which I told you earlier. Now, in case of irregular adjectives, we cannot add ER or IOR to form the comparative degree, and we cannot add EST or ST at the end of the positive degree to make the superlative degree. Now, what happens in case of irregular adjectives? So, in case of irregular adjectives, we always use more before the positive degree to form the comparative degree, and most before the positive degree to form the superlative degree of an adjective. For example, I say that beautiful. Now, beautiful uh, is an adjective where we cannot add er at the end or est at the end to form the comparative or the superlative degree. So if I have to like define quality of one individual, I'll say beautiful. She is beautiful, right? Now, if I have to make the comparative degree of beautiful, I would say more beautiful. She is more beautiful than her sister. Okay, because I said that whenever comparison is made between two people, then in that case we use the comparative degree. Now, coming to the superlative degree of beautiful, I would actually add most before the word beautiful, so that which is the positive degree, so it will become most beautiful. Now if I say that she is the most beautiful girl in her class, that means I am comparing her with all the other girls of the class. That means there is a comparison with more than two people. So most beautiful will be the superlative degree. And we also have to remember one more thing, that we would have already studied in articles as well, that the superlative degree of adjective always takes the before it. So we always say the most beautiful, the highest, the tallest, right? All right. So let us actually proceed with certain common errors of adjectives. Coming to the first concept says that the adjectives ending in IOR, for example, prior, junior, senior, inferior, anterior, posterior, etc. So they take to after them and not than. We never say prior than, we never say junior than, we never say senior than. We always say prior to, junior to, senior to, inferior to. All right. So let us have a look at few examples. The first example says, he came prior to me. So we never use than after such degrees. So here in the example, it has taken to after this word prior because it is ending in IOR. Let us have a look at one more example. Another example says he is senior to us. So again here to has been added after senior because this adjective has IOR at the end. So he is senior to us. It is not he is senior than us. And we generally make such errors while speaking or while writing. We generally say senior than us, junior than us, right? All right, coming to the next concept. The next concept says some adjectives like unique, ideal, perfect, extreme, complete, universal, infinite, perpetual, chief, entire, round, impossible. Now such adjectives, they are not compared ever. We cannot have the comparative degree of these adjectives, so we do not like ever use such adjectives for making comparison. They can be used for only one individual. All right, let us have a look at the examples here. The first example says it is a universal truth. So the truth uh, is a noun here, and the adjective for this which has been used is universal. Now we cannot have comparison of this. There is no comparative degree of this adjective universal. The next one says he is a perfect man. So we cannot say he is a more perfect man than him or than somebody else, or we cannot say that he is the most perfect man, right? So there is no comparative degree of this adjective perfect. Coming to the third example says the entire food was eaten by him. So if I say the entire food was eaten by him, now here you can see the food is a noun and entire is the adjective which is defining the quality of this noun food. So the entire is never used for making comparison. I cannot make any comparison with any other food or any other item by using this adjective entire here. Going to the next concept, the next concept says comparative degree is used in comparing two persons or things, while the superlative degree compares more than two things or persons. I already told you in the beginning, the comparative degree is used only when we compare two persons or two things. And the superlative degree is used when we compare more than two persons or more than two things. Now let us have a look at the examples here. The example for the first one is Jack is the better of the two brothers. So Jack is the better of the two brothers. So that means Jack has one more brother, and out of those two brothers, he is the better one, right? So this is a comparative degree where we are making Jack's comparison with his brother, not with his brothers. All right. Going to the next concept where we talked about the superlative degrees. Now people generally ask, sir, are we making any kind of comparison while using the superlative degree? Yes, of course we are making comparison. We are making comparison with more than two people. When we are making comparison with all the people or all the things, then in that case we always use the superlative degree. Now let us have a look at the example here. The example says Jack is the tallest boy in his class. So Jack is the tallest boy in his class. This means that Jack is tallest of all the boys. That means in comparison to all the boys in the class, he is the tallest one. Nobody is taller than him, right? And we can see that we have used definite article the before the superlative degree of adjective tallest, the tallest boy, right? Coming to the next concept. The next concept says double comparatives and double superlatives must not be used. This is a very, very common error that we usually make, right? So we generally use it while speaking, we generally use it while writing down as well. So you have to remember that double comparatives is a mistake in English and double superlatives is also a mistake in English. You are not supposed to actually use them together. Now, example of double comparatives and double superlatives, let us have a look. The first example says John is more smarter than Jack. Now, John is more smarter than Jack. Smarter is already the comparative degree. It has ER at the end, right? Smarter is already the comparative degree. Then in that case, we are not supposed to use another comparative more before it. So that is why this sentence is incorrect. So the correct sentence would be John is smarter than Jack. Let us have a look at the next example. The next example says he is the most perfect man. Now he is the most perfect man. So perfect is already the superlative degree. We cannot actually use most before it. Otherwise, this makes it to be a double superlative. So that is why this sentence is incorrect. So the correct form of the sentence should be he is the perfect man. There is one more example out here which I have taken to explain you. It says this is the most correct answer to the question. So correct in itself is a superlative degree. So we cannot use the word most before it. If we use the word most before this adjective correct, then it will be a case of double superlative. And that is an error in English, you know that. So the correct form should be this is the correct answer to the question. I hope you've understood till here. Let us go to the next concept. The next concept says when two qualities in the same person or things are compared, the comparative degree ending in ER is not used. Now, remember the words which I gave. I have underlined the important portion here. When two qualities in the same person or things are compared, that means there is only one person, right? Suppose that it is me. I have like two qualities in me, and one of my quality is being compared with another quality of mine. So, in that case, whenever I'll be using the comparative degree ending in er will not be used, right? Although I'm making a comparison, but that comparison is of two qualities within the same person, not with the other person. That is why the comparative degree ending in er should not be used here. Let us have a look at the example. The example says, Jenny is wiser than old. So when I say Jenny is wiser than old, so only Jenny is the person who is being talked about. And there are two qualities of hers which are being referred to, that is wise and old. So whenever two qualities in the same person are being compared, we do not use the comparative degree ending in er. That is why this sentence is incorrect. So, how should we write this sentence in the correct form? Let us have a look at it. The correct form of the sentence will be Jenny is more wise than old. We'll always use more in this case instead of using the er form. I hope it is clear to you till here. Now, please remember that whenever two qualities of different persons are being compared, then in that case we will always use the comparative degree ending in er or ior. Will not use like more before the positive degree in that case to make the comparative degree. Coming to the next concept. The next concept says when two adjectives in the superlative or comparative degree are used together, the one formed by adding more or most must follow the other adjective. I'll repeat it once again. I say when two adjectives in the superlative or comparative degree are used together, the one formed by adding more or most must follow the other adjective, right? So in this case, whenever you are using two adjectives either in the superlative degree or in the comparative degree, so the adjective which is formed by adding more or most, it should follow the other adjective. That means they should come at the second place, and the first adjective should be without more or most. Let us have a look at the example here. If I say that she is more intelligent and wiser than her sister, now I'm comparing two qualities of this lady whom I'm referring to with her sister. So in that case, this is a comparison with the other person. So comparative degree having more should be used later on instead of using it in the beginning. It should not be kept in the first place. So that is why this sentence is incorrect. We will never say that she is more intelligent and wiser than her sister. The correct form of this statement would be she is wiser and more intelligent than her sister. So we have interchanged the places of both the adjectives out here, as you can see. Now this is going to be your correct statement. Going to the next concept. The next concept says when two adjectives with differing degrees of comparison are used, they should be complete in themselves. So whenever you are using two adjectives with the differing degrees of comparison, so in that case they should be complete in itself. Now you must not be understanding this concept with this statement. Let me give you an example to explain you or make it more clear to you. The example says Rohan is as wise, if not wiser than his brother. Now this sentence is incorrect because when I'm saying that Rohan is as wise, if not wiser, so that means two adjectives with different degrees. This is a positive degree, this is a comparative degree. So two different degrees of the same adjective are being used in the same sentence. So they should be complete in themselves. And here we can say that see that these are and here we can see that these are not complete in themselves. So if I say that Rohan is as wise, if not wiser than his brother, this is incorrect. The correct form should be Rohan is as wise as, if not wiser than his brother. So if not wiser, this is complete, but as wise is incomplete, so therefore it should have as after wise also. Rohan is as wise, if not wiser than his brother. Going to the next concept, the next concept says when a comparative degree is used in its superlative sense, it is followed by any other. So when a comparative degree it is used in its superlative form, that means you are using a comparative degree to make comparison with many people, not with one person, right? So that means it is being used in the superlative form. So in that case, you should always use any other before that comparative degree. For example, if I say that Dhoni is better than any bowler, so this sentence is incorrect because here better is a comparative degree, but this is being used to make Dhoni's comparison with all the other bowlers. So whenever I'm making comparison of Dhoni with all the other bowlers, I won't say that Dhoni is better than any bowler. Rather, I would say Dhoni is better than any other bowler, as I told you here in the concept. So you can have a look at this correct statement here. Going to the next concept, the next concept says when two or more comparatives are joined by conjunction and, they must be in the same degree. So in any of the cases you are joining the two or more comparatives by the conjunction and, so both the comparatives or if they are more than two, so all the comparatives are to be in the same degree. They cannot be in the different degrees. For example, if I say Russell was one of the wisest and most learned men of the world. So here you can see that wisest and most learned. Now they have been separated by conjunction and they are in the same degree. Here I have used the superlative degree, wisest, and here I have used most learned, again the superlative degree, because I am comparing Russell with all the other learned men of the world. All right. Going to the next concept. The next concept says now here I'm going to talk to you about some commonly confused adjectives. Now, certain commonly confused adjectives which we use in our day-to-day lives are beautiful. Now, you have to always remember that beautiful is used for a feminine gender, whereas handsome is used for masculine gender. So, you never say a beautiful man, or you never say a handsome woman or a handsome girl. You always say a beautiful girl or a beautiful woman, and you always say a handsome boy or a handsome man. Now, next one is less. Less refers to quantity and fewer denotes number. Now, what we generally do is we use them interchangeably at times. Less has to be used always for denoting the quantity. It cannot be ever used for denoting the number. That means this will always be used with the uncountable nouns or the quantifiable nouns, and fewer has to be used with the countable nouns because it denotes number. Coming to the next one, it says last. Now last is the final one, and latest, people often confuse between these two words, and latest is last up to the present. Latest means just immediate before this, right? So last up to the present. Coming to the next one, yes, a very important one, because this is something which we find in our like examination papers as well. If we talk about the placement drive exams or the competitive exams, so this is like one of the favorite questions of the examiners: little or little. Now you have to understand this very carefully. Little means not much, that means some, and a little means at least some. Little means not much, and a little means at least some. And the same goes for few and a few. Few means not many, and a few means at least some. Coming to the next one, farther. Now farther means more distant, right? And it is not equal to further. Further means next, and farther actually means more distant, which is actually having lot of distance, or which is too far. Later. Now later means the second of the two discussed. So if you have discussed about or if you are knowing these two words, former and later, so later, it is not later. Later is later, later on, right? So later on means I'll do it afterwards. Now this is latter, latter. Now latter means the second of the two. So if we have discussed about two people, so if I'm saying latter, that means I'm talking about person B, not about person A. So this is all about adjectives. Keep enjoying, keep learning, and till then, all the best. Thank you.